Program. Good morning, Saloon. It come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. As we mentioned inside one power headline stories them today. Now the program will talk to the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs, Amara Kalon, and also we talk to the Director of Public Sector Reform Unit, Suleiman Furi Musa, and Executive Director Pro Idealist Limited, Dr. Victor Moinina. We talk today about the reform them we don't do at the public service and the impact we this gets on governance. For Sikadat, I want to welcome the Minister for Public Administration and Political Affairs, Amara Kalon. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, and it's a pleasure being here for another time.
And also want to welcome the program, the Director of Public Sector Reform Unit, Suleiman Furi Musa. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, Musa, and good morning, Sierra Leone.
Okay, and June 23 every year, now the day for the United Nations, or now the day we United Nations put together for celebrate the Public Service Day, and the theme for this year now transforming public institutions, advancing innovation, participation, and inclusion. And June 20 this year, for the first time, Salon go join the celebration and go begin the new celebration to the 23. What are some of the things that we Salon they celebrate now the public sector reform, and also what are the plans them and how they hope for transform public service now Salon make we get this packed studio this morning. First of all, before we come to Fure Musa, we then don't they do a lot now the public sector reform units, don't they look at government institutions then? They start with the Minister for Public Administration and Political Affairs, Amara Kalon. Though we can look at the day in detail later in the program, but first for somebody who they listen, this is the first time when they join the celebration. Why Salon decide for join the celebration and what it mean to now?
Yeah, thank you very much, Musa. I think Sierra Leone is part of the global village, and we are part of the United Nations. And the United Nations declare this day, June 23, as the day for public servants them across the globe, because the engine of national development, the engine of governance, is the public service. And the public servant them, and then they deliver services to the people of this country and the globe. When political leaders, they make manifesto commitments, then transform those manifesto commitments into national development plan, then rely on the public servant them for bring them commitment and the interactions so that they're able to deliver the services and the commitment that they make to the people of this of the different countries. So the United Nations here and fit say they need for declare a day for celebrate those people, those public servants, those people where they wake in the morning, left them picking them, left their wife them, left their husband and their family, come out their offices them, they the whole day. They crack them brain on how to solve complex problems them in communities, in their countries them, until they see the need for let them celebrate them. And so Sierra Leone as a country, we also get an obligation for join, because we are part of the United Nations and the global village, for celebrate we own public servant them in Sierra Leone. No matter what you say, they have contributed for Leo Day from 1961 independence day to this day. We still live as a nation. We still get with sovereignty. It's because of the public servant them. Then don't they in existence, don't they continue for work. So that's why we join this year for celebrate.
All right, Mr. Minister. At times people get mixed up the difference between public servants and civil servants. What's the difference?
So the public servant is the broader. Basically, the public service is the broader. Everybody where they work for government, where they receive money from the consolidated fund, you are a public servant. For example, if World Bank, they bring a consultant, and government say we get 1% contribution to that for pay that consultant, the worst that money they come out from the consolidated fund, that individual is a public servant, even if it's a contract. Now, but a civil servant, civil service is just one sector of the broader public service. So the civil service, we call them the bureaucracy of permanency. Those are people then go to them get a code of conduct and then get a system of management where they take them from recruitment to retirement. Certain public servants, then you can recruit them on contract basis, but civil servants, then they are calling the bureaucracy of permanency. They are there till the retirement. Government comes and go, then they provide the administration for the broader public service. So that's the difference between them.
All right. As we join other country them for celebrate this day, for Salone, anything they for celebrate?
So many days for celebrate. For the mere fact that we are here sitting as a government together with sovereignty, it's because we public service the work. It's because we there we talk about transitions, we talk about democracy. It's because we public service the work. If we there today with the see we roads and they make, it's because of we public service the work. If we health sectors, then they improve. Just yesterday, the Minister of Health, they sent me, Falabadi perform well in terms of reduction in child mortality rate. It's because we public service, the nurses are working. If we talk about the free quality education, we talk about the increased number of graduates, we talk about value for money in education, it's because our public service are working. If you talk about electricity, this government will increase from 18 to 36% access to electricity. And we talk about 97% of solar energy. It's because the public service is working. Me Sidonaya as a minister, I'm appointed by the president, and we try for reform the public service of Sierra Leone. It's because of the public service they operate. So we have so much for celebrate.
Okay. Continue for stay with we will come. We get forget the time for look at the dates and the activities that we will get. But just a preamble. You go continue for stay with the Minister for Public Administration and Political Affairs, Amara Kalon. Later we'll come to you, they tell we some of the things they want to don't put in place for improve this sector. You don't lavish praise on this morning. But we come to we other studio guests. We the Director of Public Sector Reform Unit, Suleiman Furi Musa. Good morning once more. Welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, Musa, and good morning, Salone.
What is the role of the public sector reform units in the public service na Salon?
Thank you so much, Musa. That's a very important question. The public sector reform unit done in existence for over 25 years. It starts during the time when Salon come up at war, and the then president Ahmed Tijan Kababe decided for create a reform secretariat. That reform secretariat they will look at critical reforms them for see how the country go tin up again. Because if you for know, the foundation of the public service been destroyed during the war. So Salon be need for tin up. And international communities have been making a lot of recommendations then for how Salon for tin up. The institutions they will for build in terms of revenue generation, anti-corruption, and many other institutions, the NRA. So they be make their recommendations but they be need an institution for drive then reforms then. So that was where the governance secretariat was born. So it been born as governance secretariat. Many institutions then come out of that governance secretariat day. It look at local government, look at many other aspects then. And later, as the years go by, we get transitions and other governments them. There be things they name for change. So they've been formed as a public sector reform unit. Now a critical player at that time, if they drive reform initiatives them, if they recommend to government, and if they give policy advice them. So but as time changed during the new dispensation, after 2023, the public sector reform unit been gained prominence again when for the first time I can say the president will decide for create a Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs. And in the medium-term national development plan, it will give a prominent pillar or a cluster we can call when are transforming the public service architecture. So PSRU find themselves in that particular pillar where they speak to reforms and how we will reform the public service. Then the ministry come into being. So we collaborate and work with the ministry for ensure say the reform activities of government, then priorities that are set out in the key policy actions them, we're able to deliver them within the timelines and the specific dates them where them put at the medium-term national development plan.
The program Good Morning Salundi continue the country from 98.1 FM. If you chose the genuine set edition of the program, we look at efforts them for reform the public sector, and also we look at the day we get where Salon go join other countries then but then go celebrate or begin their own celebration on the 20 of this month to the 23. they listen to the Director of Public Service Reform Unit, Suleiman Fure Musa, where they talk about the role na this entire system and how they help for ensure say public sector or public service improve. You don't just lay the preamble of how una come about and the role una don't they play. This BNTM una don't they do reform na different sectors them across the country. Take me through some of the findings them and then reforms them una don't they do and waiting be lead una for do that.
Yeah, so Musa, it go good for law know the background before we come to the reforms them, so it's important. So as I say, the Ministry of Public Administration, President created because of a need. After the war, a lot of reforms then take place in this country. We all know plenty things then come. We see donor resources then come for support various institutions then. But most of the time, then reforms they are not being coordinated. So a lot of lapses then be there, or people be there operating silos. Lot of studies then be done they do. EU they don't support government a lot, IMF and World Bank. And we've been getting a popular project in this country we call the PPP project. So them projects then all come. But after that, the government sit down and say, look, we need to harmonize and consolidate all the reforms there. And such, then we create the Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs. So when the ministry come, we try for study, really, what if it don't happen? What are the reforms there? Like reforms in the military, reforms in the police, reforms in the justice sector. Plenty things don't happen. But let's look at all the reforms that we don't happen. Let's see how we will consolidate them. So we've been called one big consultative conference. We will bring all the players in together within the reform space. We even invite international people and for can help we. In that particular consultative conference, Musa and this nation, we've been able to identify what be with challenges them, what not work well, and how we go do our best. So we come out from that consultative conference with 8 pillars there. And these are the issues that we will be identified when we come out from that consultative conference. We all agree in that consultative conference say, let we develop a strategic roadmap for the revamp of the public service architecture. That means say, how we go waka, considering which side we don't come on, the gains we don't make, the lessons we don't learn, how we go build on them. So we agree say 1, institutional reforms. Now big problem. What in that one they mean? We mean say, we for identify systemic weaknesses that we don't stop we for go before. We for identify absolute policies there, because if a country for go before, it depends on policies there. But we find out say most of the policies the way they drive with development strides there, they're not absolute or they're not fit for purpose. So we for identify them, then one then day. We for make recommendations there. We for restructure and re-engineer with institutions then for let them able function well. So now the number 1 thing that we discover, say institutional restructuring is very important. Number 2, Musa, we say let's look at human resource. If you don't do the institutional restructuring, you need people then for fit into them positions then they. Because you don't go do institutional restructure, you create the structures, you create the systems, you don't attract the best people. So in the manifesto of His Excellency the President, he said, Lord, attract the best brains. So under human resources, Lord, attract the best people then. Lord, build them capacity. Yeah? Then number 3, we say, let we pay and reform. We find out say, in the public service, wages not harmonized. Then they pay this person so, this person so, this person so, at the same grade level. These are all systemic issues then. We say let we address the issues and the fair wages, wages stratification, and harmonization under this particular number 3. Let we focus on that day. Then number 4, we say let we try for digitize the performance management. Yes, performance management, we get the iPad system, we get the PTT, we get other forms of performance management systems there. But how we go make them effective? How we go make them functional? How we go make it work? How we go make them accountable? So let we ensure say we digitize this entire process. Then number 5, we say even the process where the public administration they work on, we need for digitize them. I remember one time me and the minister traveled, we go Zambia. Among 43 countries and Zambia, they be actually for showcase how would they do with process system, with governance processes there. It goes start for note. The ministers sit down there and they ask we how they do with government processes there. Most of the things what they use are paper-based. One of the few countries that will still they use paper-based in with processes and systems them. So we say how we go digitize the entire processes, with administrative processes and systems them. Then they're very, very much important. Then we also talk about public sector coordination. It's very important, as I say, as I begin. I say, beaucoup money be done in this country. Beaucoup interventions they be done, but they're not being coordinated. So we say, look at coordination. How can we coordinate this space? Let we get one port and focus on what the government priorities and mean. What the government priorities and say as articulated in the medium-term national development plan. The policy actions there, the key targets there. Let we look at them. Let we find a basket fund where we will address all of the issues and so public coordination will be the most important. And the last one, we're in a cross-cutting, but not two. We're very important, now gender equality, the GIWI Act. It say, let we get 30% of women them for sit down at every leadership position. Musa, if you look around today, now most offices there, if you go meeting, you go find out, say, even across the table, you was in a social man there. You understand? So let's see how we go bring women them and attract them to the table. And finally, under that cross-cutting day, we say, let we engage citizens there. Like how would they do now? We can talk to the people them about what we don't do, the reforms that we don't take place, and how we they do them. So people go ask me questions and then go be part of the process. So far, Musa, for now we go into the reforms proper. Okay. These are the basis. We tell we, or we give you the platform as to how we forgo.
All right, we can look at them. It's pillar there, one after the other. But firstly, how you go assess the public sector at this moment?
I go rightly say the public sector they on the right trajectory because we get a roadmap. You know when you dey waka and you know where you dey go, fine. Then you dey go, you don't know where you dey go. So at this point, we get a blueprint, and that blueprint are the medium-term national development plan. We don't tell we the overarching priorities of government, the key government actions that we government want deliver in the next 5 to 7 years. So we, as a people or as a ministry or as a sector, we derive we actions them, we policy targets them from their actions and the way government set at the medium-term national development plan. So I can say the public reform, the public sector reform or the reforms, they move steadily and they go gradually.
All right, so outside the public, as you say, on a longer roadmap where they show outside where they go, but you can find for no outside we been there. We mean they in the right direction before we come in and try to do some of the reforms there.
As I say, plenty things happen. Plenty things happen. As I say, it was not well coordinated, but plenty things, good things happen. Now, when we set out, the first thing we do was to learn from the reforms that we don't take place. Those good things, we borrow them. We get lessons learned. The weakness system, how we go build on them. The challenges them, how we go surmount those challenges them. So that all help we for able position we for look at whose side we they go.
So now we look at the things that we don't highlight. One, you talk about institutional reforms.
Correct.
Let's look at institutional reforms.
Correct.
What's not been the issue with the institutions them, or what is still the issue with the institutions them we now want reform?
Musa Adana, a very good question. We get many institutions across government from studies and from what we see, we get duplicated responsibilities there. We don't need to shy away from that one day. Yeah, so this ministry or this architecture is set for look into them things. And they, you go get one ministry and one agency, department, we go they do the same thing as the other. We get examples of departments and agencies and within government where similarly they do the same things there.
Take me through them,
many of them, these are things.
Let me just get an example.
So Musa, I don't want to name names now. Yeah?
Why? Because if we want to solve the issue, we therefore name names.
So Musa, structurally, we try to solve them problems there. So if we begin to name names, I know Allah begin cast blames. We there for solve the problems. We there for look at what not work well and provide recommendations as to how them go work well.
Now, what make I ask you for name some of the institutions then? We don't see plenty, don't they raise concern, but institutions them where they exist, where they think say, their institutions here, the public not even know what in they do. and then think say not just job for the boys, and not just like alpha column, it add to the wage bill, and they create much impact. You know, name names, but like let me just point one example, like the Ministry of Western area. This ministry, what's not the rule and what's not the function? Now, one way the public don't they ask. A lot of them then they again when they get duplicate functions them. So in studying the duplicate functions, how widespread it is within the system and how worrisome it is for the wage bill and for effective operation.
Musa, as I say, the mere fact we're able to identify this, yeah, saying a problem, it means we get solutions to that. So, but I want to let you also know, we get over 154 ministries, departments and agencies. We get 29 ministries. We get 19 commissions them across. So this is a big work, not a small thing. We agree, we identify, say there are duplications, and that is why the ministry come, and the agencies and within the ministry, and I want to let you know, say not to one agency where the ministry they collaborate with. We get many agencies like the Human Resource Management Office, Cabinet Secretariat. We get the Public Service Commission. We get also other critical agencies where the ministry they collaborate with for ensure say then things there happen. Now, when it comes to duplicated functions, when it comes to agencies or departments where they perform the same functions, that is where we can come in. We can come in with what we call a management and functional review. Management and functional review, they look at systemic weaknesses of their institutions and they study the institutions and we study the act, we study the policies, we study any instrument we create them. Then we look within the wider public service for see if then instruments and then they conflict with others. Musa, is interesting for see how we can work. We get processes where they bring all sectors together. For example, if you sector 98.1, they clash with liberty or truth, yeah, will they bring una all to the room? We identify una areas of responsibility. We see who say una they duplicate. We show una clearly, una all understand and see say yes, una they duplicate. Some they even duplicate on the laws them. We create them. So we they able to identify and show and clearly to them, then see. Then we all profile solutions as to how we go move forward. So this has been a consultative process. Not to just that we they come and propose, say, no, this should be the recommendation. The minister seated here has been with us in some of the engagements here. 3 days. We they go out of the towns here for bring them people here together for address the issues and they. So I can tell you, when we they come out, we they bring out the issues, and in fact, we can make recommendations in some cases for the review of the laws then, for look at the policies then, for play with them again, for make them be functional, effective, and for able to help the institutions and for function well.
Before we go over to the minister director, you don't mention about the institution the way, I mean, they perform the same function. When I get any data with the show, some of the institutions there, they all perform the same role at the same time. So
when we come first, what we will do, the minister being commissioned, say, let we do an assessment of all the institutions there, look at their capacities there, yeah? So I can tell you for a fact that we get a database. In fact, what we do at first when we come, we look at all institutions that within government. We look at the mandates, we look at the vision, we look at the responsibility. That able help we for able to triangulate which of the institutions there get similar responsibilities there. So we get that data there available to we, and a then our office where would they look at. In fact, that can prompt we for go into such institutions them for go do their management and functionality.
Also work specific way some of the institutions then they do where they jam with themselves.
Well, mostly na operational things them, the laws them, the powers them, the functions that we then give them. What do you for do and what do you for do? You understand what I mean? You go find out, say, one institution or several institutions, they do the same thing. You understand? Then they focus on one thing. And as Musa say, we all they run after one post. You understand? We only get with money from one post when are the consolidated fund. So if 3 institutions then they do the same thing, then they run to that same center, it means that there is a strain, you understand, of resources. So we all they go now one source for go get them money, then they for do one thing. So these are the things we try to identify. And I can tell you, we don't do a lot. We don't make a lot of recommendations.
We come to the minister, but for you, you make mention of the institutions, them agencies and commissions and ministries. According to this study, out of the number, then how much you think say saloon forget actually, where if you pull all the duplicates one day redundant them?
So Musa, that comes to functions. That comes to waiting an institution for doing the relevance of the institution.
If you advise government, almost institutions them, or almost commissions, agencies, or ministry think say government for dissolve and allow the other for up.
Musa, these were all created because of essence and because they be important at that time. But we try for look at now.
We are not look at them yet.
We they try for look at now. How can we merge some of them? How can we make some functional? How can we improve on some of them?
We not get anyone at one match.
We don't
example.
We don't like, for example, I can give you a vivid example of the National Investment Board. We get 3 or 4 institutions there, where they do similar things on investment. We brought them all together under one umbrella. Now we get the National Investment Board, like the PPP, the registration, the corporate affairs, and then there is another one. They all come together now. They don't form one National Investment Board. So these are some of the things who they look at for ensure say institutions they're able to work well, they're able to function, they're able to pay attention to the responsibilities that we then get and drive government functions for improved service.
Continue for stay with me inside the program. We just look at institutional reforms, and when I be done, they do studies them in terms of the human resource. Now some of the offices them.
Right.
Or can we look at some of the things that we want to find out in the relation to human resource? Usman?
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue. Still inside the studios, we get the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs, Amara Kalon. You know, you're waiting the director don't say, and una self get a big role for play. Them reform there, we done they happen with the institution there. What una hope for see after some of the reform there?
We want to forget a professional public service. That's the end result. And forget professionalism, you get different character traits we associate with professionalism. Talk about transparency, accountability, you talk about inclusion, you talk about participation, you talk about, we want to see a public service where people then take them as a career. And not on outside somebody they can't say, okay, that just can get small thing and go. Let me give you I can give you a case study. I happened for preside over the recruitment of the Chief Executive Officer of the African Peer Review Mechanism of the African Union in 2023. The African Union asked me for that preside over that committee of 10 other colleague ministers across Africa. And then we look at the criteria for select. Just imagine the entire Africa. They come for one position. We get over 360 applicants. When you look at the criteria, the major, the one who carry the highest mark, now then say that individual for don't serve in a public service in a country at an average of 15 years in a senior position. So just imagine at the global level that they set them kind of standards. So what did they tell you? That the product of our country, not for only be produced for compete in your own country, but also for compete at global stage. I can give you an example. Look at Sierra Leone right now. Look at the international institutions within this country. Tell me, you go see most of them are from the South and the East Africa. Because the system then set wherein they produce public servants and then put them at the disposal of the continent and the globe. So they go there to compete. So all what they do so, now for get a professional public service, we forget professionalism, well, not only for serve Sierra Leone, but for also serve the global stage. So that's the end result we are looking at here.
Okay. Mr. Minister, the reason why I ask now that allegation around where people don't make now that most of them people working there, I mean, as public servants or in a public institution, them most of them not can get the required skill for some of the institution there. And director just talk about human resource. We're now aware of some of the concern there where people raise.
In fact, it's keep them in presentation. It's a whole pillar. Yeah. Human resource management is a whole pillar, But capacity building also is a whole pillar. So not only for manage them, but for building capacity also. Because if you want to manage people, you get for building capacity. You get to forget the need why they recruit. And when they recruit, you get to look at capacity. Where they onboard the person, you get for building capacity for they can start in work. Where they in the work, you get for building capacity for perform. So that you go able to promote them, you go able to move them to other institutions, then for perform better. Even when the person they retire, you get for building capacity because you get a lot of knowledge where you need for bring back. And that's why we are establishing the Public Service Academy. The presidency and the FIT say the civil service training college is too limited to only to the civil service. They say they will expand down to the entire public service. So they established the Public Service Academy where they become the hub now for capacity building. And the kind of capacity building we talk about here is about professionalism. People look themselves as career public servants then. Now, we know say when they recruit you already don't get your academics. Now make them recruit you. BSc, Masters, PhD. Now make them recruit you. Those are the criteria. But when you come into the system, for they become a career public servant, they become a professional, we get certain courses the way they know they do in our universities.
Okay.
But we have to do them in a public sphere, ethical leadership. Yeah. Innovations. Those courses, you don't do them in university, but these are courses we can do 1 or 2 weeks. And you need to get an institution where they build those capacities so that when they come to the office system, they're able to apply them. And that's why we are strengthening the Public Service Academy. And by God in power, during this day where they give the award, there's going to be an announcement by the president for the transition of the civil service training college to the Public Service Academy.
Yes. They mentioned them thing that want to put in place. Somebody go say very key. But one thing we don't see in the public service, now the plenty fits, whether between ministry and the agency, and also within the ministry itself. And one issue where the Director of Public Sector Reform Unit just mentioned overlapping of functions. This is now one key challenge. You know, name some of the ministries or agencies that we need to overlap, but if you look at the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, and you look at national, the NACID, that civic education also, and you also get EPA, you get NPAA, you get Ministry of the Environment, you get Ministry of Sports, you get NSC. These are just some examples then where we don't see. People don't come out and say, now we function this, no, now we don't function this. How this they affect public service and how we reach there?
Very important. In fact, this USA we do right now, why we there is as a result of that. And maybe let's go to the genesis. There are times you need for that we get the genesis, understand the process, and why we get here today. After the independence, Sierra Leone don't survive about 5 successful military coups. The Jackson Smith, the Brigadier Lansana, and the AFRC, the NPRC 1 and 2. 5 successful military coups. And then they establish governance. We don't succeed about 21 years one party state in this country. 21 years, we don't have one party state. We don't get 5 successful democratic elections in this country for introduced democracy. And we don't get 2 successful transfer of power from the incumbent to the opposition. At every level of this, you get a system of a different nature, where then they carry their own policies. First, then they carry their own commitment, then carry their own plan, then carry their own policies, for make sure that they go this plan right, and they become with their young people for build those for deliver on them things then they. And in the process, we have institutions established. After the war, donor partners they also say, because of during the war we lost a lot of professional civil servants and public servants. Then say we ministries and department agencies they not get the capacity for implement the activity programs the way they can with after the war. So they asked the government for established project implementation units. Those were established, and when the money done, those PIUs they asked the government for let them transform them into commissions and agencies. We'll get about 18 of them now, with all the liabilities. So they recruit for themselves, they negotiate salaries for themselves, they establish systems for themselves. We're not aligned with how public service will operate. So just imagine 18 commissions. If you look at the nomenclature, the designation of the leadership, they're all different. And for every designation, there is a job description, there is a salary for it. There is a different grade. CEO, chairman, commissioner, director general. All of them are different positions there, yeah? Then the systems that were set in those acts. So at times some people are bilang because of now me they can't help this institution, so let bilang the way I want them. They build it the way they want them. This don't go from 1961. Different government, different circumstances. As I said, the military rules, one-party state. Alma just can complete this, and democracy. Now, that's why you see what you talk about conflicting mandates. And that's why the president see the need. Face all the money in the world, build all the hospitals, make all the roads, face water, face all the electricity. If you don't have those institutions, repositions, reorientated, restructured, re-engineered for deliver those services, those things that with the government they deliver. Now I know the work. You know the work. We see what they happen in the military. Now take example for the military. You see the reforms that take place in the military, because we are not preparing for war. We are preparing for war, but in peacetime, how do you utilize the military? For serve the people of this country. Look at what it is in the police. Are we having a force or a police service? You see the transition will take place there. You look at the judiciary. For the first time, we don't decentralize the judiciary. We have high courts then sitting in regional office. Because how can you imagine me granny where in Falaba get case with somebody, he get for all the way na Carolaton for case, he go kind of one thing, he take in granite money. The second thing, not get money for can pay transport for car. You know the kind of that court day. That case they go there for 1, 2, 3 years, witness no day, and another candy. So the decentralization. So you see the cumbersome work where okay. We don't put on the public service. That's why we see the reform. And the reform, not to event to, it's a process.
All right, so the cover back to you, especially we get for do with the court system we are in, you say, on to make sure say even though you didn't have the last village, you forget access to justice and the rest. But concern again that most of the people are working then inside and the magistrates or the judges them, you know, they can get term where they can go to them place and people concerned about that say they know they go to time. We'll come back over to you in name Amara Kalon, in the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs, as today we look inside the issue of public sector reform and other things. So we'll go for a break. When we come to other studio guests, we are Dr. Victor Monyina, the Executive Director for Pro Idealist Limited.
Bloomberg Digital Banking don't come for it.
I said so. You look stressed so.
Nah, bank I they won't go so.
Me sister, go digital.
Digital?
Yes, with Bloomberg Digital Banking. Just tap, click, swipe and send money, receive money, check your balance, pay your bills and get quick loans before Jacko cuts your eye.
But Abula fly.
Well, bring your phone.
Now so easy and quick.
Yes, with Bloomberg Digital, you can bank with freedom any side in the world. Your money is safe and secure. Also, you can do business and transfer money instantly by your currency across Africa. Quick one with Colats.
Wow! As from today, call me Aisa to Bloomberg Digital. And they go tell all me party them for join Bloomberg Digital Banking.
Go ahead and download our digital banking app from Google Play Store and Apple Store, or visit any of our branches for further details. For no more, you can visit our website, bloombankafrica.com. Bloombank Africa. Let's make it happen.
You bland taste ice cream and you not feel like an ice cream? No worry again, because Blue Moon ice cream don't come for you.
Blue Moon ice cream na salon that they make up and you get different flavor them like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, almond, bubble gum, plain yogurt, chocobar, ice pop and different other flavor them.
It's available in all supermarkets and we shop there in Sanders Street, Wellington Street, Wilkinson Road and Waterloo. Self, we work man at the worker with the push cart they sell. Now salon the factory day when they make this ice cream here. So get better taste with Blue Moon ice cream. It's refreshing and they give you more satisfaction.
For more information, you can call we on 077 633 633. Blue Moon ice cream. The taste
for Radio Democracy. Adeyemi Jackson, the report.
The program Good Morning Saloni continues. Still inside the studios, we get Suleiman Fore Musa, the Director of Public Sector Reform. Before we go for that break, you mentioned about 8 pillars we get for do with human resource, digitized system, public sector, coordination, and sector. But one of the institution there or office where people may like to know if una look at get for do with the presidency office. Una may able look into that office there and try to do some reforms.
Okay, so thank you very much, Adeyemi. But quick while I make some quick clarifications before I go under quickly. I want to maintain here that we role a technical role. The ministry role now strategic and policy formulation so that then they guide the reform process. I want to make that clear. Secondly, I want to speak to Dr. Moinina quick and say a mention about the NIB. For say the business registration unit and the OARG don't transfer to NIB for streamline the processes them. These are all part of the reforms them will take place quite recently. That they make we get a one-stop shop so people then they able to do their businesses them quick one. Then also we talk about the land, the issues about EPA, the other agencies in the land sector, in the conservation sector. Now I make the creation of the National Lands Commission, WACAM, where they seek for streamlined functions and make National Lands Commission a one-stop shop also. So important that we know that. Then coming to your questions, Adeyemi, I believe that the office where you mentioned are one of the highest offices of the land. And one of the things will happen where the Chief Minister, David Moinina Senge, when he will take over office, in first 100 days, he being asked for we do a management and functional review for in office. For know exactly what thing they for do and which side them box stop. And we will carry on that management and functional review at the highest level. In fact, that was one of the fastest management and functional reviews we ever do. It took 6 weeks for DUAM. When we conclude that management and functional review, we will make some smart recommendations as to how the structures and how the coordination for happen at our office. I want to say, David Moinina Senge, when somebody we can push on delivery, be absorb their implementations and then implement them at our office day, and we see what thing they happen there presently.
In the reforms, you make mention of the human resource. What do you find out, say, that the issue with the human resource in governments, ministries, departments, and agencies there?
So, Minister laid the basis as to why some of the issues they are there. We say some of them institutions we can we then create them because they say we not get capacity. For example, you go find out say then go count some projects them, yeah, and then projects they are sit within ministries. So you can see say they can employ people the way they say get high capacity, pass even the PS way they when they approve, then documents there and veto them for let them implement. So most of the times, you know, capacity issue don't be a very big concern. So now when we strategic roadmap for revamp the public service, we pick human resource as one critical pillar. That pillar they look at capacity. And how we enhance this capacity? Minister don't talk about, I want to draw emphasis on that. We find out say if the public service for work well, they will need for build the capacities of the one that way they. The one that way they, if they get the capacity, we need for enhance and build upon that. So what do we say would they do? Would they transform the civil service training college into a public service academy, where all training, capacity building will take place. So we will train people like we will take people into the public service, they go orientate them. We will give them short trainings them for capacitate them for no waiting for happen at the public service. You can imagine somebody come to university like Musa. Right now, if you apply at the public service, you can't work at the public service. They say write memo, you don't have to write. Memo get format, it get systems, it get way, it get language, it get things the way they look for. So you have to be trained for able to write that memo. So the public service academy, they provide them trainings and equip you enough for able to serve within the public service domain. So, as I say at DMA, human resource is a critical component. We need to get the right people with the right competencies, with the right skills there. So them skills there, we don't get a place where they build them. If you know, Dr. Moinina will talk about Dr. Moinina trained at East African countries, if I may be wrong. We get some other public people them, we go Ghana, Jimpa. So the JIPA, who they see so today, where they train public administrators, is a replica of what you want create, way for train public officials them for able deliver on waiting for deliver. So human resource very important to it.
All right, we declare over to you, and we other studio guests. The below will take with 4 sets of messages. This one from Usfem Kamara say the government is also executing structural reviews in our international capacity building partnership. Following this, there was a public service academy created with the UK Civil Service College. How far has this collaboration been implemented? However, there seems to be a bottleneck capacity building partnership relationship with European Union, EU Parliament and the Dutch government regarding diplomatic responsibilities option. How much commitment is government showing towards the partnership, especially when we are heavily reliant on external funding? In March this year, the National Evaluation Capacity Readiness Assessment highlighted that the National M&E Agency and various ministries.
Yeah, this one from Brahima Idrisa, now Facebook page. They say the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation is perfectly appreciated than its previous sanitation attachment to that of Ministry of Health and Sanitation. Therefore, it's better to expedite its management function review MFR for effective and efficient sanitation service delivery to the public. Doctor, I appeal that the stakeholder involved in the process and see reasons why to promote the 2023 presidential proclamation of environment sanitation to the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation and practically complement the process that will support its realities.
This other one again from Emmanuel, I say, what are you doing to revamp the attitude of some of our public servants? The attitude are worse.
This is Indolo Langba. They say, viva to Mr. Kalon for explaining the issues to the public service and the roadmap designed to harmonize that sector, which shows that he knows the issues clearly. My question is to you, sir, is that effort has he made to make sure that at ministerial level to engage colleague ministers to devolve functions that are supposed to be functions of their respective agencies, because because what is clear is that those ministers that are soaring the functions of their agencies are doing it deliberately to render them useless in the public sector space. From Indolo Langba, now Facebook page.
This one from Rebecca Baker, it said, this is our minister and director driving real change in our public sector reforms. Well done.
Ibrahim Sise said to revamp public sector delivery, focus should be placed on accountability, staff development, and technology adoption. These are proven drivers of efficiency in many advanced public sectors. Good governance begins with effective service delivery. From Ibrahim Sise, our Facebook page.
This one from Supercaps Fude Kabakaba. I said the public sector is very important engine. It drives economic development by building critical infrastructure, providing essential services like health, care, and education, and creating a stable regulatory framework that encourages private investment. So I agree with Doc, all his submission, and most ministry authorities need strategic training in order to change their leadership mentality to deliver standards results. Okay,
this one from John Bartolome, now Facebook page. They say, good morning, Radio D. I love this morning program. Want to know what tangible benefits have ordinary Sierra Leoneans seen from public sector reforms, and how can citizens measure whether these reforms are truly improving service delivery?
This one from Umar Jallo say, when are we expecting the civil service recruitment to be digitized? I know it is a big challenge, but it is doable.
This one from Tunde Scott now Facebook page. You say we are still struggling to get daily water supply here in the east. Most times 3 days a week, which is not enough to meet the demand.
All right, that not a few messages them, the first set. We'll go for short music break. When we come, we'll go respond to some of the messages that we people don't send inside the program this morning.
You know what time it is?
Youth man, question time. Youth man, question time. Make we learn for ask questions. For things them way happen now in sweet nation. You name the resources. Waiting them from benefits this nation. From independence to 50 years of celebration. Where they make you man and they think I'm say something for them better. We still under British colonization. But man, there's still not a question. Should be one of the richest countries in the world, but we still why we not a question? Why poor people just the poor? They rank and then they better. Why? Waiting do we not a question? Why make na salon no more the young no they grow? Oh salon. Why we not a question? Why make na ya no more education no they grow? Oh salon. How the internet slow? Now so we slow anyone then give me say oh. Big development, corruption, first position, clap for us. I know that's such occupation. These two can first man something. Go be beg na boduya. If una kill we slow, una shoot we right on sight. Yeah, maybe then they go better. Everybody say na 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 na. Everybody say na 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 na. Yes, I go try for unite this generation. Sabotage me, make them misunderstand the intentions. Making away smart, but must ask you the question. One day, Mama, why we still live on the same?
I hope you enjoy the music day. We'll get into the program this morning. The song titled Question by MRC. And before we go for that music break, Mr. Minister, we'll get some messages. Then we'll start for response to them, sir.
Yeah, the UK Civil Service, for a Musa go deal with that, the relationship, we go sign an MOU and go discuss with that. You know, to the chief diplomat of Sierra Leone, and as a Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, but maybe let me just say it because it's a public perception, it's a public issue. We want for me, I want for them to be clear, say Sierra Leone not run on social media. Governance is not run on social media, and governance is not run on opinions or perceptions. Yeah, there are diplomatic processes and systems. If there is anything where people feel the Dutch government is get problem with, there are diplomatic channels. And I believe, say, for address those issues, it's not what they put on social media, it's what went through the diplomatic channels. If anything don't come through the diplomatic channels, the public will know through the Minister of Foreign Affairs. But I don't, for me, I take from the social media for support, but I know the user as a means for drive what they do. And Sierra Leone, I think what we don't, the biggest problem we don't get is how we call it the people's media don't become a serious issue to a diplomatic front. Yeah, and let we not forget the social media, most of the platforms them, what they see as social media, not to legal platforms. Second, what you see on social media is not reality. Them musicians, the way they see, then you inside your video, you see them they dress naked. Not me saying so they dress naked. Now technology now input them for them dress naked in that video day. But when you see that man, they go for meetings, you see dress officially. When they go shooting film, in video, you see dress officially. So what you see on social media is not necessarily means the reality. These are just one for the people to understand. Not to everything you read on social media, you just stick them, you put on hook and sinker. I want to be clear on that. This issue of this sanitation portfolio now, the Minister of Health, first, I want to be clear on this, because I know they come many times. The president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, the Constitution gives the prerogative for the established ministries, departments, and agencies, and for move departments them from one ministry to another. It befits the president for create the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, and allow the Ministry of Health for the Ministry of Health. We have no alternative as an institution with the reforms for make sure we go into that and complete that mission. And that mission is ongoing. That's something more to wait for. We are going to complete that transfer. Unless the president say no, we are not left handed. But we are going to do that transition. And that transition is going to complete. Compromise no depend. It's the prerogative of the president. It's an announcement from the president. And the president cannot be wrong. Now, you're not going to say the president wrong. If the president wrong, you try for make her right. Then when the time reach, then we can negotiate. But we don't question the authority of the presidency. Because now don't decide. You get the reason for create the Ministry of Public Administration. People may ask what is this ministry? Now people in the say, Mr. Minister, don't make this ministry, don't become something else. Not to me. It is because the president in thinking, in vision, now he make the ministry go to be so.
If the president get the authority for create, but he get una as ministers and advisors, what una can advise some of these issues? So
that's why the MFR report they go to cabinet. There is a process. The MFR they come from a need. The need for doing management and functional review. Then do the process. There is a committee called the steering committee, with the chair by the secretary to president. We'll get 17 institutions who represent they validate the reports. They write a letter officially to me as the minister, then submit the report to me. I take that report to cabinet and the recommendations. Cabinet look at it. If we say sanitation does not sit well in water resources, we can make the recommendation and can go to cabinet. Cabinet can approve, or cabinet can say no. Let it stay as it is. So that's how the process. So president can make a president appoint somebody. He go to parliament and say no, no answer. So the prerogative of the president cannot be questioned, but you get legal institutions there we can advise the president and make recommendations to the president for make a change. For now, we don't get that it.
Okay.
And so we go with the opinion, or we go with the prerogative of the president. Now, I think this issue of devolving functions, we don't submit the paper in the cabinet. Yeah? We want for developers, we call what we call the Ministerial Code of Conduct. We don't go to call the civil service codes. We get the judiciary codes. We get the parliamentary standing orders for all those institutions. Now, for political appointees, not only ministers and deputies, but political appointees, we also need to get a code where they help them for do their work well, how they relate with agencies and commissions, waiting at their role with your civil servants them, how they for enter into their jobs, how they for exit out of their jobs. Those are the things that we kind of in that ministerial and political leadership code of conduct. And once we get and they address so many of these issues. The other document we don't we could address most of these issues about agencies, their mandate, is the Public Service Act. Okay. I will tell them, I say we don't do the policy, they don't draft the first bill. The bill don't come out. Now consultation starts next week across the country for consult on the Public Service Bill. And they address most of these conflicting issues because this is one of the documents we'll never get in this country for tell we how the public service will operate. We only get the Public Service Commission with a limited scope. Okay. Now we need a document where they give directive to the Public Service Commission on how to regulate the public service and go address most of those issues.
Continue for stay with me, sir. The program Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs, Amara Kalon. We come to Victor Moinina for respond to some of the messages that we can before we come to Furi Musa.
I don't think any message come from me. I just get the compliments when they say I agree with most of what they say. The only thing no more we may go lay emphasis on is that the role of the Public Service Commission or the Public Sector Reform Unit, not to for just review, then can also make recommendations as to how some of the operationalities of government will be. Because like I can always say, governance not a one-stop shop. also where you just go say, give me SMB insurance. No, it's something that is evolving. And with new concepts and new ideas, talking about the e-governance, talking about other functionalities, even the PPP where you talk about public-private partnership, these are some things that they can leverage on and go discuss with the partner, and then go see how best and go. And that's, by the way, bring me to a very crucial idea we had to think of. Some of the things that we government is struggle with, you get private institutions that we then can match for able to deliver on them. And if they're able to do that, there will be a win-win situation. But of course, we all know it's not the role of the private sector, and profits maximization, government and service delivery. So if all two meet up, it will match to become something better.
Okay. Fori Musa?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, quick one, I'll jump to Dr. Moinina, then I can answer the question on the board. Yes, Dr. Moinina, I think one of the critical things in where the management and functional reviews they do now for make recommendations. Yeah. We can benchmark for look at international best practices, and then we they adapt for see what's in the fit we. So the MFR now actually a scientific process, now a study where they look at how institutions will function. So when we do that, then we can make some smart recommendations. Then somebody talk about we signed some memorandum of understanding with the civil service in the UK. I can one say Salone, the public administration will they run we borrow from UK. So at one point in time, the minister take a delegation to UK, including the director of public sector reform, the chairman of public service commission. We go for good study how the UK system did. In that study, they later, it been lead we for sign an MOU with the Civil Service Training College of London. And if you for know, those systems them, they don't transit a lot. As Dr. Bide mentioned, technology don't come in, innovations don't come in, digitization don't come in as to how they run them public administration. So we learn a lot from them. So what do we say? For adapt some of them things that they do, let we sign an MOU. We sign an MOU, they will get an active MOU with the Civil Service Training College. Where they transit from to the Public Service Academy, we get for see them where them go can help we for develop we curriculum there. Because one develop public servants them where they respond to emerging issues them. Issues them with contemporary. Issues we get for deal with globalization and other issues them. So we not only tap there with the Civil Service Training College, we also sign an MOU with the IDEP. IDEP na capacity na a UN arm where they into capacity building. In fact, na the repository of the UN system. Now they then they build capacities of UN staff in Senegal and they self can help we. In fact, you said they do cause with it. Well, you see, now a very remarkable institution across the world. The minister herself do cause with them. So we don't sign MOU with all of the institutions there for can help we for see how we go rebrand, reposition, and fit the Public Service Academy for be one of the best institutions then we go offer capacity to public officials in Salone.
Yes.
Before we go further, a few days ago, I was on another media. We get the director of the Waka Fine. They give you an illustration. Say, when the bus then come, you know, they sell tickets physically. And because of that sell with them, they sell tickets, then they lost money. When they decide now for go digital, then we get revenue where they come in, which is quite innovative. So sometimes I think, say, we for look at e-governance, not only for other basic things, but we for look at on how we go run most of this thing. Because let's say, for instance, if I want to do a payment, I don't need for give you the money. I can pay through Orange Money or free money. The institution, they get the money because it can straight to the account. Okay. But sometimes when you get physical people there, some man they go even duplicate the tickets. They can just pull that serial number, then get that stamp now, then stamp and the tickets get that stamp, and then automatically the institution don't lose money. So if they talk about how then they run, but running a digital system requires a lot of training. It requires a lot of information, data, even forgets connectivity. We all know how the struggle. You pay you on the aliens, you know they even get the service for the So we can't even talk about that, but this is something that is very much important.
I continue for the way to inside the program, Doc. We'll go for a break. When we come, we'll look at the day of itself, the celebration and waiting. I mean, the ministry and public sector don't put together for the Salone. I'm enjoying other countries and the world for celebrate this day.
Proudly Sierra Leonean, proudly progressive. Have you heard of J-Man Group of Companies? Building businesses, creating opportunities, and driving national growth. J-Man, building the...
Go take serious action against them. The program, Good Morning Salon, will come to you live from Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. I really bring the program to you this Wednesday morning. My name is
Musa Kamara Naminim, and we still get studio guests them. And we get the Minister for Public Administration and Political Affairs, and also we get the Director for Public Service Reform Unit, PSRU, we na Furi Musa, and also we get Victor Moinina, we did the program with we. Mr. Minister, we open this program with the United Nations Public Service Day. We now July 20 this year, but Salon they start the celebration on the 20th. We don't talk about a lot of issues then. How do they use this day for address some of them challenges here, so through activities?
Yeah, well, this day is really enough for let we celebrate the work of the public servant them across Sierra Leone and for give them a tap on the back. You know, they say all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. And what they talk about Pillar 5 when our wages compensation and incentive, the incentive aspect of it now they deal with so. For make sure we celebrate them, we recognize them for their dedicated service to the country, and also motivate them for let them do more. Because there's going to be an award ceremony with the president, the award to retired public servants and serving public servants, where for the first time we selective, we serve as a motivation that if you do well, the following year, there's probability in you, a sector, or your ministry or department or agency where they then go nominate you for that you get that award the president will give. So it's part of the reforms. Somebody will say, now part of the reforms for create the incentive for let people then perform. Because salary, yes, for the increase in salary, fine. But that public recognition for what you do goes a long way for the person who they get and for they do more. But the other way they behind they say, myself one forget next year. So instead they do more for them, make sure they get them. So we do this for celebrate with public servant them, and let we continue them know say we recognize them, we appreciate the work that they do for provide the services where the people of this country need.
How are they select the one them we wanna the giddies?
So this year, because of we call them this the first year of the celebrate them, and the planning come just within 2 months. We just look at those retired public servants, then what we ask from we call the Public Service Academy, Public Service Commission, the HRMO, then give citations of their retired one then and we get a team who select the criteria then the way the PSR you get. But also the one they then serving. And we not take only from the civil service. We take from all walks of life, the military, the police, the prisons, the teachers. We take across the board, one, so that at least for the start, let people they know, say this program don't begin, and the next year now we go deeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the program, Good Morning Salon, they continue. Continue for stay with me inside the program. They can look at messages, but we can't talk with Furi Musa from the Public Sector Reform Unit. And the same celebration when I get with the public administration?
Sure. The Ministry of Political Administration, the Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs, now the political ministry where they guide the reforms, now they lead the reforms. So whatever we they do, then get for spearhead them. Yes, this year we they join the rest of the world for celebrate the World Public Service Day. As the minister don't allude, we want to look at critical areas. We want to recognize contributions of public servants then. As we don't say now, the public service are the backbone of service delivery. We all now don't agree on that day. Now then they design policies, now they do the work. So we want to ensure so we recognize them. This they help we also for advanced good governance, for showcase innovations that we don't take place. Musa, if you go to that place there right now, institutions across government they erect booths for showcase the things that we happen.
Who's saying for happen?
The Miata Conference Center.
Miata Conference Center.
Yes.
The date again?
It starts formally with a symposium on the 22nd and the actual day now the 23rd.
The global theme now transforming public institutions, advancing innovation, participation and inclusion.
Correct.
When I get local team or when I get for go with this team?
So we go with the international team, but waiting amazing now that in this symposium where I go left for invite una in the public, we organize a symposium where they bring intergenerational dialogue. What do? we search for the one that we don't serve. Now the highest echelon, we don't serve as secretary to president, the likes of Julius Sandi, Osho Kuka them. We don't bring them. For really can't tell we how public administration been there. Waiting to be the experience. Waiting to go impact into the younger people them. We are public officials them now. Then we also bring the new crop of public officials them, where they speak to what they talk about when innovations, digitalizations, and advancing professionalism. Let them talk about how they will adapt to this new system of public administration.
Continue for stay with me inside the program. Victor Moina, they come back to you after the message here. So this one from Indolo Langba now Facebook. He said, Musa, your question on the overlapping of functions between ministries and agencies was spot on. In the case of NASED and MOIC, that's the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, the mandates are clear. The ministry is responsible for policy formulation and provides oversight. On the other hand, NASED is responsible for civic education nationwide. But what is clear is that deliberately the minister has absorbed the function of NASED. My question to Mr. Amara Kalon is, what will he do to bring the two parties to a round table discussion to address this overlap?
This one from Michael say, Mr. Minister and Director, what's your findings about EDSA Guma, because this institution provide basic service to Sierra Leoneans and their service are very, very poor. This one said, Victor Moinina, how can you use your expertise in assisting to address some of the challenges that have been highlighted this morning? The last one I would say because of time. This one from Mystic Nadwazaki says service delivery remains a major challenge in many public institutions in Sierra Leone. As a nation, we must identify the factors contributing to poor service delivery and important, effective measures to address them. Improving public services is essential for enhancing efficiency, accountability, and citizens' trust in government institutions.
Usman, the last one from me, I say from Usman Napoleon Koko Bangura, he say, I extend my heartfelt commendation to the Honorable Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs, Director of the Public Sector Reform Unit, PRSU, and all coordinating institutions and stakeholders for their unwavering commitment to revamping the Sierra Leone's public service architecture. So your collective effort in driving reform, strengthening institutional capacity building, promoting accountability and enhancing service delivery are laying a solid foundation for a more efficient, professional and citizen-centered public service. These reforms initiatives reflect a strong vision for national development and good governance. As citizens and public servants, we appreciate your dedication to building a responsive and result-oriented public sector that met the aspiration of the people of Sierra Leone. May these reforms continue to yield sustainable progress and excellence across government institutions. This now is a best regards Usman Napoleon Bangura. That's not the last one from me for now because of time. We come to studio guests them for respond to the messages here. So we start with Victor Moinina. You get a message, Naya. You can respond to them quick one before we come to the rest of the studio guests.
So basically, I'm a Sierra Leonean, and of course, I go look for see how best I can for contribute my meaningful quota towards national development. Of course, I'm open for let we discuss and see how best we can move most of the things that we will talk about. So, for answer the question directly, yes, I'll be working with some institutions. If they ever reach out, then we can take a move from that side.
Okay, thank you very much for joining me in the edition of the program, Victor Moinina, for can share your thoughts on some of the things that we'll discuss inside the program, especially when you get to do with overlapping government ministries, department, agencies, human resource issues, and also gender issues. Then, I come to the Minister for Public Administration and Political Affairs. Messages them come for you inside the program. You can respond to them.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say thank you very much to the listeners, the viewers, and the way they send and comment. The reform continues. It's not an event. It's a process. The for 65.
Somebody asked how they bring these overlapping institutions together.
So
meanwhile,
say the issues are many. My sister, the deputy ambassador to Belgium, you can say the problem them Boko. We take them one by one, slowly and progressively. We therefore study some, we therefore understand some. So we are going to do it. That's why we have men are the political and strategic role that they play. The PSRU, they play the technical role. And the role women in this institution they play is a testament to what thing we want for their playing institutions. That agencies should be the technical arm of ministries. Ministries, their mandate are to provide the political and strategic leadership in policy formulation and strategic articulations. But we come to the technical aspect, that's why we have the agencies. And the relationship with me and the PSR get is a testament to that. Okay. That my ministry, we come to the technical issues, they do it. And me, we then carry the policy, me take come and care and go up and bring and come and then translate it into technical activities and then make sure she then drive and go down.
Okay, plenty thank you, Mr. Minister. Quickly, Director, not get better. Quickly, somebody asked about EDSA.
Yeah, quickly, well, that I don't take note, as they don't talk about that, and we don't take note, and we will see how we will move with EDSA and Guma. But as the Minister say, and as I can say, and the number of institutions that will get, then Boku. But this work, we go do it. And I want to assure the nation, say, President Bio, don't give it a work for do. And we're going to ensure, say, we do this work and improve service delivery in the country.
This just for your notice from Tambaji Betua, they say we have the Minister of Lands in Moyamba district, but the Ministry of Sanitation is still claiming to be in charge of house permits and land reforms. Is this not duplication?
So as we rightly say, the reforms are ongoing. We're not done with the Lands Commission yet. And somebody talk about how we will bring the overlapping institutions there together. What will they do? With the insurance, we'll bring them kind of the room. Let them all understand their roles them. And if they understand, I think we can move forward.
And maybe Musa, the celebration is 22 and 23.
Yes.
Okay. But on the 20th, this Saturday, one will get a health work for a public servant. Okay. And I can tell you, we are going to have the military, the police, the fire force, and everybody is coming out. 7 o'clock in the morning, we meet in a U building. Then we work at Teguna Badin. For sure, say we need a healthy workforce in this country. And we start this celebration.
You get it for the part of the worker?
Yeah, Mrs. Eddie did it.
Mr. Minister, I think after we just go do an invoice because you just don't do this morning. So, thank you guys for joining me inside the program this morning. The last voice we just listened to, now the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs, Amara Kalon. And same way, so inside the program, we get Suleiman Fore Musa, the Director of Public Sector Reform, and also we get Dr. Victor Monyina, Executive Director, Pro Idealist Limited. Plenty thank you guys for joining inside the program this morning. When I have got the curtain door of the program, good morning, Salon. Welcome to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Plenty thank you to producer Sabtu Kalon, support from Enoch Abia. Plenty thank you to John Kamara, DJ Sugarcane for technical support. May Kamara Bango, Jaffa Manzibi, Smith on us live on Facebook. So to miss another 10 minutes, Kamara Bango.
And Musa Kamara say bye bye.